I call this meeting of ENF to order. It's 4:25. You stand for invocation.
Dear Father, we just, God, we praise you for this day. And Lord, just thank you for the gathering, God, of our people, Lord, to make decisions best for Cherokee Nation. And God, just let us be sensitive to your word and let us listen to you, Father, and direction we need to go. God, we love you and thank you for your cross. Amen.
Here. Chet Hosky Jr.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird. Julie Coates. Here. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Here. John Garvin. Frankie Vargas.
Present.
Tanya Glory Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dave Blay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton. David Walker.
Here.
Garrett Callan Watts.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
Approval of the minutes, the June 11th. Next subcommittee.
I think motion for those in total, all those listed in the book there.
Okay. Second by Joe Bird. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed. On to financial reports. Mrs. Lacey Horn.
Good afternoon, council. We have been quite busy working on the proposed budget. We'll have it due to Council House here on Tuesday of next week. So if I have any questions, or if anyone has any questions on my written report, I'm happy to take those now.
Good job, Lacey.
Hi.
Good job.
Madam Chair, at a previous council meeting, I think it was Councilor Keener, asked about how the council would know if there is surplus property available. So I followed up on that for you. And visited with Ms. Horn and John Claus about how that would occur. And so one of the things that happens is sometimes one department takes their property or different items to the surplus area, and then other department knows that they're moving out, so they'll go grab things. And because I asked she and John if there was a way that they could give a monthly report to the council about what was available for you all to utilize if you knew someone that was in need. And it kind of moves fast, and so by the time she would have a list to you in time to get it on Shelley's council book, by the time you all would see it and it would be the meeting, it would probably be gone. And so she and I kind of talked about some kind of system to assist you all. So we were thinking about quarterly reports of things that maybe had been there for a long time. But also you could, if you have a constituent or an agency or a group that needs something, you could call and see if they have something available, and then say, put my name on it till we can get the resolution or whatever. And so if you have any questions in that area, I just wanted you to know that I followed up with that question, and since Lacey was here, we could both answer those. So I wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we call Lacey Horn's office the treasurer?
You can call me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay.
Thank you, Lacey.
And you could be as specific as possible as to what you're looking for, so that the warehouse guys have clear directions.
We'll get an email to tell us what is available.
I think quarterly, if they have some things that have been there for several weeks or whatever, then they'll say, this is not moved, and if you have someone that has a need for that, this is still here. Because giving you a list, by the time you get the list, it would be already gone, and then they don't want you to be mad at them because you lost the opportunity. So, but I knew that you were interested, so I wanted to follow up.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Councilwoman Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess what I understood Councilman Keener's concerns, because we've talked about it, maybe I misunderstood, was not just the notification, but the process for how it's determined who gets what. You know, knowing what's there, being notified of what's there, and how, if is it rotated or is it priority? How do, you know, I know that we absolutely have to determine it when it gets to council, and no one wants to deny somebody the opportunity, especially some of the great causes that I think we've donated items to. But it feels like a lot of districts seem to have prior knowledge of things we don't.
You can't control the flow of information. You know, I mean, the department is getting ready to surplus some stuff. I mean, you'd be surprised. Other departments find out about that, you know, pretty quickly. You know, there's shopping going on every day over at the warehouse. You know, people are constantly looking for, I mean, departments are looking for things to, you know, upgrade or switch out something that they may have that's broken or not of use. Now, as far as requests that have come in, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of accommodating, you know, every request that comes through. I understand you've got a request out for a laptop. We had 2 laptops come in the other day. I had both of them sent to IS. They were both bad. And so, you know, we don't want to surplus you something that would cost that group that you donated to $650 to refurbish. So, you know, we try, you know, as the requests come in, and certainly we are on the lookout, you know, for what you need when it comes through.
Okay, so maybe, and that's kind of, when you said that, that's what then I heard you say is, if we'll just make a request for things we know about, then you will watch for it and be given first priority then for those, assuming it doesn't need to be dispersed internally.
Right. If a department needs it, they're going to have first dibs. But, you know, if something's sitting there for a while and it, you know, is not going to get taken by a department, then absolutely we will contact you.
Well, Councilor Kenner, I appreciate you bringing it up and the follow through, because this makes it clearer for me what's happening or not happening. Thank you.
Got it?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Slayton?
Good afternoon. We ended up having another great month in May. Things continue to be good on the gaming front, and our government businesses are also seeing some increased activity, and some of the government agencies letting loose of some funds here at the last quarter that if they don't spend it, they're going to lose it. So over the next couple of months, we anticipate being able to announce several good contracts that have come our way. In the month of May, we also received another check on our insurance, approximately $9 million. That brings the total recapture up to just about $22 million, and that's related to the property damage we incurred with the roof collapse a couple of years ago, and also the business interruption income clause in that policy. So we still have a ways to go. That brought us up, I believe, through December, and we're currently working with our consultants and the insurance companies to finish up the rest of this year. Once we open up the new casino, we've got an additional business interruption period of 6 months, and that's to allow us to rebuild the customer base that we may have lost during that time period where we were closed in Casino 3. So that's good news, and we're making a lot of progress there. In relation to the construction projects, Catoosa, the opening has been moved from mid-August to mid-September. We moved Ramona up to August the 28th. We will be having a grand opening there that we'll announce and get the details to you. Also working with career services and our employee services to have several job fairs in that area. The hotel tower at Catoosa will be opening late November, early December, and Fort Gibson is mid-November as well. So that kind of concludes my report. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those.
Councilman Garvin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. John, we haven't brought any businesses lately. Is anything in the bill? I don't know any secrets, but just in general, what's going on?
There's not anything close. We have had several businesses approach us. We're also working with Career Services on some economic development opportunities around the 14 counties. They probably have some things that may be closer than what we do. We're continuing to be on the lookout for things. So I don't have anything that's immediate.
Councilwoman Watson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you report to us by email or such on a monthly basis what our actuals are for Ms. Free's contract through CMB?
Yes.
Okay, and so I'll need a current one from what we last, you could start maybe in the next week or so.
Sure.
And then, could you follow up with us? I thought I'd asked for it, not from you guys, but from elsewhere, and then I never got it, on the impact that the special dividend would have had on the business case, or exactly where that money came from out of the Snowmageddon money. 'Cause the way I understood it, and I never really got a clear answer, maybe I just, was that special dividend was from money that, if I recall correctly, was from through the original business case on, we were accounting on the insurance money.
Yeah, I'll get with Don and try to understand how all that works.
So if like a clearer picture of, where that money came from, how it impacted maybe existing business cases or the new facility.
Okay.
And then a history of any past special dividends, we've had that before and such.
Sure.
Have we sold the plant hangar?
No, not yet. It's up for sale.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's listed for, but it is up for sale.
Yep.
One other thing I will update the council on is I believe it was in May, they passed a resolution asking about a feasibility study on Salisaw Creek. I told our board and some of the advisory members yesterday that RFP is prepared. We have a list of firms that we're sending that out to, and if it hasn't already gone out yesterday or today, it will go out tomorrow. If any of you have a firm that you would like to pitch their hat in the ring on to help with that feasibility study, let us know. We'll include them on that list and get a packet out to them. So we're excited about that. I told them yesterday that we kind of broadened the scope on that to not only include Salisaw Creek, but to include the facility at BRD and also our Roland casino there. So more of a what can we do to stimulate the whole region as opposed to maybe, with what we have there already, as opposed to just Salisaw Creek. So.
Thank you for that, Sean.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank Sean for officially yesterday accepting the interim CEO while we continue the search. He has stepped into the acting, and he will now be the interim until we can find another CEO. Thank you, Sean. I know that's a hard position.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the opportunity and confidence and.
Sean, thank you for the feasibility study and what you put into it. I really want to let you know that when you open the bids, I'd like to find out, who gets the bid.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it, Dave. I think there's some opportunities down there to get some things going. And had a meeting today with somebody that.
When you receive the study, I'd like to have a copy of it and send it.
Sure. We'll distribute that.
Thank you, sir.
Woman Coates.
I heard reported out yesterday, I think by Mr. Holderby, that Dane Strother is on contract with us to evaluate and analyze the media buys of CNB. Did I understand that?
Dane had a contract with us to analyze media buys and communications, and he's completed that. He issued the report, I guess last Friday, to our executive committee members, and that concluded our engagement with him.
Okay, so he's not under contract any longer?
Correct.
With us at this time?
Correct.
Okay. Is there some sort of description of his duties while he was under contract that we could understand better?
Well, that was there was an RFP completed and posted out on One Stop.
Okay.
I could certainly get everybody a copy of that,
Okay.
and that kind of lists what the request was and what he looked at while he was doing the study.
I would appreciate that.
Sure.
Councilwoman Watts?
No, thank you. My question's been answered. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Knight?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Our summer youth program is over as of today. Today was our last payroll for its official last payroll, but there's probably going to be some stragglers here in the next 2 weeks, the ones that didn't get started right on time. But we have a few that are still on the program, mostly our interns. They will go up through next week. We have a intern banquet that we usually do for our summer interns, and that will be next week. And our keynote speaker is a former intern who is now our Attorney General, Mr. Todd Hembry. So I encourage you to come and listen to Todd and let him tell you his story. I was looking at Doug, but it's Todd. But sorry, Doug. I thought Todd was sitting there. But anyway, we want to recognize the interns. This year they went to the East-West Council meeting. They were scheduled to go to Unity, some of them, and we decided that it was more educational, more beneficial for them to go out to North Carolina, and I think that they thoroughly enjoyed the trip. And I hope that you all got a chance to visit with some of them, because I know that they came back with all kinds of historical things to tell us about. George said, I'm glad we went, because he said it was very educational for them, and they'll remember this the rest of their life. We have a kickoff last week in Tulsa for the broadband survey and business plan. John James is to be commended. He worked on this for about 2 years, and he and Heather Griffin at C&B are kind of the two driving forces behind this. And we had Michael Speed out here from our USDA who's working with us on this, and we're hoping that when they complete the survey and they develop this business plan, that it's going to help get broadband out there to our Cherokee people as well as all people in the 14 counties, and that's what they're working for. And this is a big endeavor, but it's a project that's very worthwhile. And we had several of the electric companies, some of the telephone companies that were there, because it's going to be we're going to be able to take fiber and run it from the electric lines in these rural areas to the homes, kind of like your water line hookups, where they'll be able to get television, telephone, and the internet. And I'm really excited about it because I have to drive up on the hill when I want to use my cell phone, and I still don't have internet where I live. So anyway, I'm excited about it. We had several of you council members there to help us with the kickoff. Councilwoman Fulbright, Councilwoman Jordan, she got up and gave our closing remarks. Councilwoman Fishenhawk, Councilman Byrd. Was there anybody else that I missed that was there? Anyway, we just appreciate you all coming up and helping us with this kickoff, because it meant a lot to the staff. There was about 40 people there. We have meetings that have been started with our counselors. We're going to develop booklets that will have all of the vacant buildings in all of the counties. We're working on that. I've got this one girl that's just gung-ho. She brought in a notebook about this thick, and I thought it was one county. She said, that's just one town. I said, one town? And she said, yeah, well, we're going to have information about the square footage of these buildings. We're going to have information about whether or not we've got rail, airports, interstate for any of these businesses that are wanting to locate in the 14 counties. We also are working on the unemployment data. We have the state working with us to keep that updated on a quarterly basis, so that if anybody contacts us for C&B, we'll be able to pull that information together. And we also are working with our area workforce offices so that we can pull them together when we need to do presentations for any kind of businesses that are out there. Staff are real excited about some of the things we're doing. We appreciate the overwhelming support that we got from you, as well as the CNB board with this training dollars that we're doing with some of these businesses. Andy Dreadfulwater has already started working with the business in Tulsa to get some OJT contracts, to get some tribal members to work up there. And we're hoping that once these other businesses that are in the pipeline, there's about 12 of them, I believe, yes, Sean, some of those, they're call centers. We're meeting with the state of Arkansas next week. We're going to go look at 3 buildings next week and partner with them, because there is a potential call center that wants to locate on the border of Oklahoma because of the tax incentives. But they want some assurance that people in Arkansas as well as Oklahoma both will get jobs at that facility. So we're going to go look at some buildings next week. We still have the call center that we're working on here in Tahlequah that's in the works. We've got a bait company that does fishing lures that's wanting to come up and meet with us. We met with a poultry company out of North Carolina 3 weeks ago, and they are definitely interested in coming to Oklahoma because of the tax incentives. We have a pain medicine that is interested in coming up here so that we can fill their quota for their government contracts. So there's like 4 or 5 businesses that are out there that are coming here to the Cherokee Nation to talk to us about the tax incentives, tax credits. And if we're able to secure them to come this way in one of these counties where we have these vacant buildings, they can get these tax credits, and we can also deliver on the workforce. Then they're going to locate because of the contracts that they have. Mike Bailey has been very instrumental in helping some of these businesses to get in the pipeline for some of those federal contracts. And he has been working with some of those people to get them in the right direction. We've also been talking with some of them about the new market tax credits that Marguerite and her staff at CNB are working on as well. So it's a seamless effort between CNB and us, and we're all one happy family, and we're all working together to try to get businesses up there. And I just can't say enough about the support that we're getting from you guys and the Chief's office and CNB, because it's overwhelming. I've been here for 36 years, and I can truthfully say this is the first time that I've seen this embracement coming about as a result of everybody trying to work in one area to try to get jobs. And I've never seen 12 in the pipeline like that we've got right now. And I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Do you have any questions?
She must live on a high note. Good afternoon, everyone. We are in the middle of the holiday, hosting the holiday, and we do have the art logo. This is what's going on the t-shirts this year. There's actually a painting with the fire in the hands, but I wanted to pass those around, and you guys can take a look at it. The theme is From One Fire to a Proud Future, and we're in the middle of getting all the publicity done and the program booklet and all the media. So if you have any questions about my written report, I'll be happy to try to answer them. Come on, not even one question. Thank you.
Karen Cooper? Yeah, right here.
Anna, before you get too comfortable, are you the new president of the chamber?
I'm the outgoing president.
Outgoing?
Yes.
So when is this going to take place?
I'm sorry, what?
When does this conclude?
It concluded June 30th.
So that was it?
That was it. I was the chamber president for years.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we could pass around, if you would just each take one sheet. It's hard to talk about the numbers of groups that we have visiting the Heritage Center and the numbers of people that visit. So this shows you how we make the reservations and how it's all organized, and you can see we have groups that come from Tulsa, from various places, and Comanche Museum folks that came all the way from Lawton. So we get groups coming from various places. Sometimes we get some from Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Texas as well. So this is just a month showing in July into early August of groups that we have scheduled that visit us. So from April through June, we had 116 groups that booked, and that gave us 4,370 visitors in those groups. 2,975 were students, and the revenue from the fees that we charge, and some of them take extra activities that are noted on the reservation form. So the total revenue was $22,797. We also had, as far as volunteer services provided by 120 volunteers for the past 3-month period, 8,256 hours of volunteer service. So we're a busy place, and a lot of people don't know that unless you come see us on one of those busy days. And that's really all I have to say. I gave you the report that was just kind of highlights and what was going on. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. I am the interim director, as you might know, and we have started interviewing, so hopefully I won't be doing this job much more because I have retired and I'd like to return to that status.
And that was exactly what I was going to ask you about. I knew you were interim, and I knew that they were looking, and I wondered if maybe offline, privately, that the names of the ones that you're interviewing could be shared with us?
If HR doesn't mind.
Well, now, is that, they'll be employees here at the tribes?
The director will be an employee of the Cherokee Nation.
So, do they do it just like any other job? They pull up a panel and send that panel to you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's a little different than what I understood it was going to be.
Yes, it is a little different. We advertised it in places that we found that didn't charge. So we went to the free sources, websites and such. And Cherokee Nation did put ads in some of the museum magazines and such that require payment to get into. And so we received some applications directly. We turned those over to Cherokee Nation, and then Cherokee Nation contacted them and asked them to go through the Cherokee Nation HR process as well.
Karen, are all your folks over there regular employees with full-time benefits at Cherokee Nation?
No, not all. Not all are, but most are. And I don't actually know the number regrettably, but we pay 3 full-time permanent staff. The Cherokee National Historical Society pays that, and 5 seasonal workers for the village. Everybody else is paid for by the Cherokee Nation, which we very much appreciate that assistance to us to give them benefits. We were struggling with how we would give benefits to employees, so that gets them the benefits that most people need. And the 3 who are not paid decided they would be happy enough with us paying them and not having the benefits.
And what's the total staff over there?
35. That's including some seasonals that aren't there year-round.
And so you have submitted a budget request?
Yes.
And it includes, who is the staff under the direction of that is paid by Cherokee Nation funds?
Well, that's been an issue we've been working, trying to work out through the memorandum of agreement, that their first answer be to the director on site, and they can also report to others as far as information, but we need to be able to discipline people, and we shuffle workers around when we have large groups coming. We have to pull people from desks from various sites to handle that, and so we need to be very flexible, and we also need to hire rapidly. So the positions that are paid by the National Historical Society are those kind of positions, financial development. We need to, if a person leaves, we need to get them in there.
Now, do we have a paid fundraiser over at the Heritage Center?
We manage several fundraisers, yes.
No, I mean, do we have a person on staff dedicated to fundraising?
Yes, that we are paying the National Historical
It's one
Society.
of the three staff that you're paying, one of the three staff
Yes,
that
it's
you're
one of the
paying?
three staff. CNE has provided us with another person to be in that office. She's a young woman who was active during campaign process, and so she's with us, and she's learning to write grants. She's a very quick learner. She's very good.
And how have our fundraising activities been for this past year?
Okay, they're actually look like they're under numbers for past years, but that's because last year we were raising money for the village, and so those were large grants for the construction of Tellico Town. First monies we got was from CNE 5 years ago, and those were matching funds for some big grants that we got from some foundations. So even though last year looked better up to this point, there's a reason for that, because there were some big projects going on, and we're not going to do too many big projects till we finish that village. However, our 50th anniversary is next year, and so we are looking to fund a lot of activities, reunions for various groups, and just special events going on, special exhibits. The thing about fundraising, as you probably realize, is that Penny, who's our development officer, has been there 7 months, maybe 7.5 months. It takes a while to get the rapport going and get the knowledge of and go through all the records to see who's been contacted, who hasn't, what's going on. And she's actually very active, so I think she's going to be very successful, but it doesn't show on the record right now. She's been visiting Cherokee Nation work sites because we've developed an agreement where Cherokee Nation employees can have a membership at a reduced rate and have it done electronically from their pay and carried on. So she's been visiting work sites, spending a lot of time there, and that's starting to develop some money for us. And she's done a couple of small events. One was at the branch, and we had some of you attending, I think, there as well.
What has been the result of your fundraising activities through this fiscal year to this point? How much have you brought in?
I think this is going to tell me 20, 40, about 75 through grants and 4,000 from a special event. So it's not as much as we wanted it to be. Membership has increased because of the campaign to get that moving along, but it's increased by 10 members perhaps. But members have renewed. The previous members have renewed.
So the total that's been collected through y'all's efforts is going to be maybe less than 100,000.
We're going to have to put another big one in to furnish and landscape the village, and so that's going to be sizable, probably 75,000 to 100,000. Once we get our figures together, we'll know how much it's going to cost. We're going to need to buy bear skins, animal skins, clothing, do classes for the workers there so they can produce some of the furnishings. So it's going to be an effort. So it's going to be more than 100,000 just for that. We're going to have to get big trees moved in there so that the village looks
And is that going to be through a grant request from?
Yeah. They're searching through different ones. We've not found a lot that are anxious to fund that sort of thing, furnishings and clothing and such. So another big one we want to do, but it would get funded in 2012, is for a teacher workshop that would probably run about 100,000 because it's a NEH program that brings teachers from all around the U.S. to here. So there's travel, housing, and those expenses that grant would cover.
Karen, I want to get with you offline later,
Okay.
if that'd be possible. Okay,
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
of course. Thank you. Chief Burton, any other? Yes. Who's next?
Very passionate about the Relatiers play. I was in it once. I was a villager. I used to mow the lawn. That's how I made my living there.
Yes.
Working there back in
Right.
the 70s. Had an opportunity to see Unto These Hills again. One without the other doesn't hardly mesh. You have to have both.
Right.
With the board members we have on there, how many do the council members select and how many does maybe the chief or the state? How is this done?
The board selects the members, the new members that come in as they rotate off, and the chief and the deputy chief are automatically members.
Yes. How many do we have at this point?
24?
I don't think there's quite that many.
Okay. I think that would be a full board. 20-some.
How many employees?
Employees, 35.
25 or 35. We need to raise some money.
Yes, we do. We do very much. Because the amphitheater, as you realize, is not in great shape. It would take $1 million, $2 million perhaps, to bring it back to state of the art as it was in the beginning. And the problem is the audience here is not as large as the audience in Cherokee, North Carolina, because of the Great Smoky Mountains, the most visited national park.
Of course, at one time we promoted it as the only air-conditioned outdoor drama.
Right.
At one time we were able
Yes.
to do that.
It was great. I saw it in the early days. I saw the village in the early days, and we need to get back to those days in some way, not perhaps exactly the same way, but back to that being one of the greatest places in this area.
Sure. Thank you.
Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You mentioned an employee that's paid by CMB to be over there to write grants. Is she Cherokee Nation citizen? Is she Native American? I don't understand this arrangement
Right.
and how she was brought in.
I can't say much about it because I don't know all the details either. She was there when I arrived, and I'm so glad to have the help that I haven't really questioned. She's very talented, very gifted. And
Do you know if she's a tribal citizen?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, thank you.
She plans to marry a tribal citizen. Okay, thank you very much.
Cherokee Nation Educational Foundation.
We've had a busy quarter. We have completed our 2011 audit, which I believe you have in front of you, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. We did finalize the TU agreement. We did secure a 2-to-1 match. Scholarships will be made available out of this endowment starting September 1st. We also won a Google ad grant for $50,000, so we will receive $50,000 in Google advertising starting this fall. Our big program highlights, we have completed CCPI, which is the Cherokee College Preparatory Institute. We had over 50 students travel from all over the 14 counties and several from out of state. We had over 14 universities that participated as mentors throughout the week. We had a very successful week and have been invited by the University of Arkansas to be hosted on their campus sometime next July, date to be determined. Right now is our downtime, so we've closed up the 2011-2012 school year and are preparing for the 2012-2013. We will be hosting 6 ACT courses again throughout the 14 counties. We'll be launching an Early Edge program, which is for 7th and 8th graders on 3 different campuses, and we do have funding for 110 junior achievement programs. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
On to the consent items. Taro.
Move for approval.
Second. Second. Move to the approval. A second. Did you?
We're on the Tarot certifications. Any questions?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? On to cemetery.
Motion with one, I make a motion that we approve them with one addition, 4 Mile Branch Cemetery, out of Fort Gibson.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Councilor Watts?
I had a question before the vote was, do we have the paperwork on it, I assume?
It's out of Cherokee County and it's all right here.
All right, thank you.
Okay, on to community assistance.
Motion for approval, and I have one addition. Joe Bird and myself and David Walkenstick would like to split $1,000 to Heritage School, who is a new school starting up this year, and help them to get a supply closet established. Guess that'd be organizational support.
Okay. Any others? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? On the law enforcement.
Move for the approval with one addition, $5,000 for Craig County Sheriff's Office for a vehicle upgrade.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? On the roads. Okay, no roads. Okay, no old business, new business.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is an act amending the terror statute. I move for its approval.
Second.
Mr. O'Bracker?
In your book, you have the actual, the law, can you turn to page 11, please? Under section 25, 540, we would need to strike out the letter D. This title does not provide any cause of action for employees of the Cherokee Nation, Cherokee entities, or wholly owned corporations. That contradicts when we put the Cherokee Nation businesses and our
Move
entities.
to strike letter D under section 25.
Second.
I accept that as a friendly, and we'll just do it by friendly amendment.
Any others? Any other questions? Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is, do we need to clarify in the title where it says contract law in red that it's contract and employment law, given the earlier discussion?
I do, if you think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I accept.
Do we accept it as
That's
friendly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any others? Discussion?
I just want to point out one item, Madam Chair. We had some suggestions from CMB on some language to the emergency definition and the contractor definition, which I think has been passed out. I've had a chance to review it. In my view, our language works pretty good. Certainly, we can mull it over between now and full council, but I don't see any need to hold it up based on those two definitions. And Mr. O'Bracker, if you have any feedback on that.
We're in favor of the current law,
Yeah,
the language as it sits.
Just wanted to make the councilors aware. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Okay, any other discussion?
By acclamation.
By acclamation. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Passes on to Mr. Evans.
Okay, administration's submission of modification number 11 this month has $3.75 million in it, of which $1.1 million are grants to be recorded. The diabetes grants carrying over $900,000 of that, with the lion's share of the balance being Sequoia High School education. The mod itself contains $2.6 million in 11 budgets spread across 8 different funding sources. And the lion's share of that 2.6, almost 90% of it, is environmental health projects. The general fund has a request in for 3 budgets, 2 of which are actually expenditures. One's a transfer out of a gen fund op for the minor emergency repair under motor fuels tax, which is a continuation of the program services in that budget for the rest of the fiscal year. And individual water and sewer is also requesting a $50,000 increase to carry them through the end of the fiscal year. Community water lines is another one that's got a cash match requirement. It's going to environmental health projects. I'll hit on a little bit later. The next funding source is indirect cost for employee appeals, has a $36,000 increase. Housing proceeds fund for mutual health operations has additional insurance recoveries they're wanting to expend of $48,000. DOI self-governance competitive projects has a $44,000 request to spend hazardous damage assessment grant. Public Law 102477 has some interest income from prior year and this year's projection. They're requesting expenditure for it. And the HOSDA fund has a housing management increase for also insurance recoveries received for $57,000. That leaves us with the IHS Self-Governance Environmental Health Fund. That is a $2.2 million increase, and almost $2 million of that are on environmental health projects from prior year funds, and an administration budget that goes along with the projects of $274,000. That's all that's in this Mod 11. And there wasn't any issues related to carryover or funding availability.
Any questions? Questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those, oh, who did the second? Frankie? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Any announcements?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
That many here?